What's up, babies? I am here with my man, Alan Fernandez. He goes by I am DJ FTR right now on Instagram, but he's going through a whole rebrand. So we're going to get into that in just a second. But our main topic that we want to talk about today is just this different format of weddings that you can get into specifically in like the Northeast. Because Alan recently made his way down into New Jersey to do a wedding. And of course, there were some differences with all that. But let's get to know you real quick, buddy. So tell me a little bit without being like, just tell me about yourself. So you live in Harrisburg or you live in Lancaster?
No, I
Okay,
live in.
Harrisburg.
Yeah, yeah.
Word. And you work for a lot of people down there. Why don't you just tell me a little bit? Do you like your DJ life? What are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I live in Harrisburg, PA. Primarily DJ for Baker Event Co. for private events and weddings, and then for private, not private, for like nightlife stuff and things of that sort. I kind of either do my own thing or work with other companies like Diversity Entertainment Group. I do a little bit of nightlife stuff for them as well. So, but as far as like the main bread and butter, Baker Event Co. I'm also a booking manager with Baker Event Co. as well. So I'm also involved in the sales component with working there as well. And as far as like DJing and all of that, I've been doing it since 2011. Is that when I started college? I'm dating myself a little bit here. I think it was 2011. Yeah, 2011 is when I really got into it. So I've been doing it since then. And yeah, primarily kind of with along you, I go by an event DJ, not just mobile or not just wedding, where it's just, I do primarily event-based stuff, but with a good bit of nightlife on the side. Shout out to DJ LG. He's been helping me out a lot on that front and kind of getting more into the space of nightlife stuff or deepening that experience. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of overall where I'm at as far as my DJ career right now. And primarily, again, Baker Venko and then those other parts of my life too.
Hell yeah. DJ LG, that's the Lance George that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. And he's helping you with your rebrand and everything too, right?
Yeah, so Lance actually did my logo because he does a lot of graphic design stuff. He's done stuff for other DJs too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he helped me out with designing my logo, which I'm very excited for. I absolutely love it, and also that's the homie too. So it's always great to work with the homies when you can.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So yeah, Lance is man, that kid grinds, you know? So I actually something that I learned through Jana that I just think is super important that I want to start to ask everybody that I talk to is just like what's your like superpower as a DJ?
What is my superpower as a DJ?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
do the thing where I jump on my Rev 7 and then no, I'm just kidding. No, as far as my superpower as a DJ, I love that you're asking that question. I would say, and I don't know if this is a typical answer or not. I feel like this question
I've
varies.
never asked anybody this, so there's no
Oh,
typical answer yet.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, I honestly think it's my personality. I think it's the aspect of I, number one, have not just been a DJ in my life. I've also worked as a booking person for concerts and live events. I've worked as a live sound engineer for venues and also just for, church audio stuff. I've worked as an event coordinator back in my college days. So I have a lot of understanding of the different parts of an event that bring it together. And so a big part of my thing is that I think collaboratively or I think holistically when it comes to events. So as a DJ working with my couples, I ask questions like, well, hey, with your caterer, are we doing this because they need time to get dinner ready? Or hey, for your photographer, do they know that we're doing this group activity? Because if we're going to do this, they might want an optimal shooting position. So are they in the know about this kind of thing? So that
Damn.
definitely is one big aspect is just I just think holistically about an event. And I think that's a very unique aspect to me being a DJ and kind of be like, oh, this guy knows more than just the musical aspect. He also considers his relationship with the other parts of the day. And then also I think it lends into my conversations with my clients, which I think allows them to be very trusting of me and very much connect with me on, man, this person cares very deeply about what we're trying to achieve and being part of that.
Hell yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, well the collaborative thing is it lends so much to why this video is taking place for any reason at all, because you literally reached out to me to kind of just be like, "Hey, I just kind of want to throw some ideas at you about this different format and everything." So you just did a wedding in New Jersey and I guess like trying to think how to introduce this to people. So you mentioned dinner, right? We have to like, adapt to dinner. So this thing that happens, right, is people actually take orders at the wedding, right? So you're in Jersey, you're in this big, beautiful ballroom, right? You know, the lights are built into the ceiling and all this crazy shit.
They have their own uplights and everything.
Yeah. Oh, it's so awesome. It just saves your back a lot of the time.
Hmm.
But you do have to carry the wedding on your back as well. Basically, so you do intros totally normally. You'll probably do like first dance right away. But
Hmm.
then you, as the DJ, are tasked to, I mean, I guess recently I've seen they'll do like toasts and then we'll get into it, right? So you do the first dance. They need a couple minutes to finish getting orders from all their tables. So they get all that. We do like maybe just a welcome by the dad or the couple or something like that. And
Yep.
then you got to get straight into like probably like a 45 at the longest, a 45-minute dance set.
Yeah.
And then later on you'll continue to dance after dinner. But basically you are buying the kitchen time to make all this food for all these people. So Alan, you reached out to me because I'm like stuck on the line between Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And
That you.
over the last 2 weeks, bud, it's been go into New Jersey, like in Jersey City, Maritime Park,
Hmm.
like up there crazy, and then run back here to Allentown and do a barn, like just bing, 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 bing. So, and I guess kind of you're kind of doing the same stuff now too, basically. I'm sure you guys are in Jersey all the time, yeah?
We're getting in there slowly more and more. I would say outside of the central PA area, because we're based in the Lancaster County area.
Right.
So I'd say a lot of our work is in that area, especially because a lot of Philly and New Jersey couples are coming more into Lancaster because one, the biggest reason it's a lot cheaper than some venues in Philly or in New Jersey. But secondly, for that aesthetic, the barn aesthetic, I don't think is ever going to leave. It might shift and change. It might have highs and lows, but it's always present. Ironically enough, I just spoke with one of my friends from elementary school. Like we were in third, fourth, fifth grade together because she just got married at Riverdale Manor,
Hmm.
which I perform at often. Our company's there a lot. And I know you've been there too.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, that's a wild meshing of my worlds. My elementary school friend going there. And it's funny, and you'll appreciate this. I saw a story of her wedding, and I was like, I know those banisters and those doors. Is this Riverdale?
No.
And I reached out to her and she said, "Yeah, I got married there." And we were talking. And one of the reasons she said was, "Yeah, when I used to live in Philly, we decided we wanted to go out of the city for the cost aspect, but also in the aesthetic." And that's how she found Riverdale. So anyway,
Dang.
we're in Lancaster a lot, but we are traversing a lot into like Delaware, into Maryland, and into Jersey. I don't think I got to tell you this. I've had a couple of New Jersey weddings in the past year, not a huge amount, but some, and also those in the outer Philly area, because outer Philly or in Philly pretty much follows the Jersey format, from my
Yeah.
understanding. And in all but one of the weddings, we've done it PA style.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting to see them be like, "Oh, so you're gonna do a dance set before dinner?" And I'm like, "No, the couple didn't want that." They're like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Yeah, we just have chilled dinner music until we're ready to dance." So it doesn't throw them off as far as like what you mentioned with the prep side of things, but it's just very much like there's just nothing really happening aside from people talking to dinner music. So yeah, it was just interesting then to get this Philly wedding, and they were like, "Oh no, we want a dance set right from the jump." So I was like, "Okay, I've never done this before." And I've heard from you and other people in your sphere specifically on like the ideology behind it. But, being that I'm a good, we're friends, I was like, let me ask Kevin directly and see kind of. I think the question I asked you, which I remember you being like, holy crap, this is a great question, was kind of, I think I phrased it like, what is kind of the objective to the dance set, or what kind of impression are you trying to leave the guests with the dance set before you get to your main set later?
Yeah, you're literally giving me goosebumps again asking it that way. But it's just hyper aware because like and that's why you're a good DJ because you think about it that way. And we kind of were discussing is it two separate dance sets or are you looking at them as sort of like a together thing? Right? And I think my answer was it's very much a together thing. I pretty much personally use that first dance set to try and just like feed some egos of some more senior guests
Mhm.
and earn some trust with everybody.
Mhm.
That you will still throw in like a couple little bangers here and there just to, keep the young people happy and everything. So now So basically in your timeline, we're at the point now where you understand the format and you kind of have like a goal in mind with what you're going to do with them. So what was your thought process going into that, like first dance set, and or even I guess just going into the wedding knowing you had to do that?
Number one, I will say, I guess it was kind of a blessing that it was this particular couple that I got to have for this first time because they were very much dance floor oriented from the jump with planning with them. Like there were barely any formalities. They didn't even have like a bridal party walk down for their ceremony and for reception.
Oh,
It
shoot.
was just them. That was it. They had like the attention was on nobody else or nothing else but them and then the celebration of them. So they were a amazing couple for this first time for me because they were like, yeah, as soon as we get started with reception, do our first dance, and then actually I'm trying to remember if they even did the first dance. See that's how like minded they were is that they just wanted to have such a great time dancing. I can't even recall at the moment if we did the first dance because my focus was they really want to have a good time.
Yeah.
So my thought process going in was number one, just excited for that and knew that I really had the couple's backing on going into a dance set before dinner.
Huge.
And that is humongous, I will say, especially because I do remember this. They gave a welcome to everyone, and the groom said in their welcome speech to close it out, "This is not a typical wedding because the dance floor is opening right now. So Alan, take it away." And then boom, that's how it started. And they even had a pre-select the first song, which is "I Want to Dance with Somebody," one of the greatest songs ever for a wedding, and probably one of the
Hell
greatest
yeah.
opening songs. And that's really what it was. So it just started off with amazing excitement and energy to just dance and celebrate. And the couple told their people like this is our focus of while not saying it exactly. So
Woo.
yeah. So I will say I was a bit of a blessing to have that though that couple be behind me on that and go into that dance set. So going into the dance set, I knew, okay, I don't want to get into like the absolute bangers, but stuff that kind of rides the wave of I want to dance with somebody where it's a banger, but it's not one that, I was like, okay, this is one that needs to play during peak hour. Now I'm using some nightlife terminology, but
Right, right.
yeah, so honestly, I mean, a lot of it was also crowd reading. I know when you and I spoke, we mentioned about a couple of good artists that have energetic music that's great for a dance set, but not something that they'd be upset to hear, be like, oh, I didn't get a chance to hear because I was doing this or we didn't get dinner yet or anything like that. But really, it was just a lot of reading the crowd and then also knowing that the couple gave me some must plays and knowing, oh, here's some must plays that work really well in this beginning dance set to number one, keep the couple on the dance floor, even though that was the goal from the jump, to know, oh, okay, cool. Alan's working through must plays. Oh, we love this song. And just kind of, for lack of better terms, keep it light but fun. I do recall, as far as like BPMs, I was for the most part in the 120s, dipping some into like the 115, sort of like that Bruno Mars funk sort of BPM. So it's kind of going back and forth between those that range there. But yeah, as far as the mindset, it was just a lot of okay, knowing what the couple already likes and taking from that what can work well for this opening set. Because at least I don't know if every company does this, but at least for us, we're very much during our calls like, hey guys, like give us a short list of your absolute must plays. Like you cannot have your wedding without these songs, and then give us, if you want, a longer list of the vibe slash songs you'd love to hear at your wedding. And
Hell
so
yeah.
yeah, so I kind of the way I tell my couples is it's an open door. I'm not telling you to tell me every single song you want for the night because you're not paying for that. And that's not the service we give. We're not a jukebox necessarily.
I don't want that. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't do that. Right?
we're cultivating the experience with you having input and with you being able to say, "Hey, Alan, here's the stuff we really like. Do your thing," but knowing what hits for us the most. So I would say that was a big reinforcement, encouragement for me, knowing a lot of what they were wanting and not wanting, and then just sifting through and be like, okay, this stuff is going to work great based on what I'm imagining this first dance set is going to be like.
Yeah. I think we were talking like musically, you kept it pretty like funky, like poppy. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I
exactly
think,
that. A lot of upbeat, fun pop sort of orientation with some oldies too. I definitely made it a point because I appreciate you saying this because for a lot of Pennsylvania style weddings, and I'm not saying this is inherently a bad thing, but it's just it's not a catch-all format. in that a lot of Pennsylvania weddings, we talk with couples about like, hey, starting with older classics, or rather, you're going to hear older classics more towards the beginning half of a dance set than the later half because, sometimes your older guests might clock out earlier than the younger guests. So I remember us talking about that and being like, hey, this is a first it's isolated dance set. You don't want to really have that concept because you'll be perceived, oh, this DJ just plays older classics and that's really it. So definitely making it a point to work in some of the more recent, more modern stuff. But again, that's not like, so for example, I don't think I played Yeah by Usher, which was a song they wanted for sure. Like that was not a song that popped in my opening dinner dance
Oh,
set.
yeah. No, I don't think that belongs in opening at all,
Yeah,
personally. I
right.
think you're really it's so tough because you have such a limited amount of time and it's not perfectly structured where exactly when you're gonna end. Like you get that 5 minute warning, right? I spend a lot of time pretty much like 100, 104, like normally crawl up to like the like scratch in the 120s and then just come straight back down, and like normally end in like 108, I think, when I'm doing that dance set. Um,
Yeah.
but you're number one, you're trying to feed some of the older people to make sure that they are just getting this out of the way more than anything, honestly. But
Right.
then if you do that too much, like you're saying, you're gonna lose everybody else. They're gonna go into the second dance set thinking he's just gonna do that same old shit. So sometimes you almost have to like burn the old people on the dance floor and like kind of just punch them right in the mouth, with something
Yeah.
a little too hard so that, you know, you get that younger trust and they know that the good stuff is still going to come. Um, so did you like doing it? Do you prefer it?
That is a great question. I did like it a lot. It was really cool. It was just very refreshing and different because this again, it's just very much not the format for Pennsylvania
Yeah,
style weddings. Do I prefer it? I don't know yet. I think I will be able to answer that question better when I have a Jersey style wedding where the opening dance set is not occupied by the guests. Because I know, and this is something you were transparent with, is that sometimes, depending on the guests, depending on where they're from and what they're used to, an opening dance set can be like, what the hell is going on right now? Like we're supposed to start dancing now.
bro.
And
Yeah, it's
and so
weird.
you're like having to pull off, not even just like pulling at teeth, you're pulling the whole freaking jaw out to like get them on the dance floor. So I haven't had an experience like that yet. So I think when I have that, I can really compare to, man, this amazing experience I just had versus, man, this was like a chore and a half to get people on the dance floor. Because I also think when we can't get people on the dance floor, we're quick to just like assume like, oh, it's me. I'm doing like I'm being shitty right now. Like I'm not reading the crowd right or anything like that. And while it's important for us to always reflect on what we can improve on, what we can do better, I do think sometimes it really is just a, hey, this family, this group of guests, it's just not clicking for them like we anticipated. I remember Nick put out a video, was a year and a half ago, about the whole like the brain and like the guests that are automatically tuned to music and the ones that aren't. So I think that sort of thing, I think there's a lot of truth to that. So
Yeah,
I think when I have that experience, I'll have more of an idea because I do think, even though I know some of your Jersey peers would be like, nah, he's wrong. I do think there are certain advantages over the PA style wedding depending on the guest composition for like a
totally, dude. I think it's super crucial to understand. I can think of like three separate times where it was earlier in my career, so I didn't really know, like, as far as the Jersey stuff, it was earlier in my career. I didn't really know how to like get them to come out, you know. So you try and hop on the mic. And you're like, all right, everybody. Well, around here, we need some time to cook the food. So and I'm like telling like stupid jokes, and it's not working, and I can tell it's not working.
yeah.
So you had the assistance of your couple basically being like, get the hell out here.
Yep.
I do think like it feels kind of cheesy, but you almost have to like trick people into coming out with the slow dance. That's sort of the problem, is all of a sudden you just have to like flip that switch to get the dance floor on. Versus I kind of like the end of dinner. I like to organically make that dance floor happen by like, getting the shoulders to roll, the feet to tap, and then the, aunts to twirl each other. And then all of a sudden, you got like a pocket of 8 ladies out there and you're off, and
Yeah.
it's just naturally built. Like you really don't have that opportunity for that first dance set. You've got to be like, all right, everybody, come on, grab your significant other. We have some time before our food is served. let's open our dance floor with Amazed by you know, so like you're just off to the races kind of. But
Yeah.
so I guess if oh bro, also you
Yeah.
got to really have it like absolutely flop before you understand if you like it or not.
Yep.
Like you have to really like anything. You know, you got to have the worst night ever before you really know if you like DJing or not. Because if
Uh,
you still like it after that, then you're fucking crazy and you're one of us. Oh, right. You mentioned So you mentioned Riverdale Manor.
yeah.
So they have sort of a different format that I think is interesting too.
Mhm.
At least the way that they go to the dance floor, right? Are they still doing this where they have the dancing in like the separate room?
As far as what I've so from my understanding, Riverdale can do it a couple different ways. All the times I can think off the top when I've done dancing, the dancing has happened where dinner is at, so it's in the main banquet hall.
Oh,
Um, Now I know because I know Jesse, the owner of the company I DJ for, Jesse Baker, shout out to him. He's done weddings there where dancing happens, where they do ceremony in the. You know what's funny is
a
all
little
these
circle
I
room.
remember the names. Yeah, the outdoor sort of patio circle area. So
Yeah.
I've seen videos of dancing happening out there, but personally, and I've done at least close to 10 plus weddings at Riverdale in the last year and a half now to 2 years. It's all been in the same banquet or not banquet hall, but the main ballroom.
Right. Yeah. I know
So
what you mean. No
yeah,
freaking way.
yeah.
I've done, I, so, because when I was out there all the time, I did it one time where it was in there, but every other time it's like we flipped back out. But
Interesting.
yeah, but so what I wanted to say was because there's actually a venue, it's called Hotel du Village. Have you heard of it?
Oh, I've not.
So it's actually not far from where I live right now. It's right on the line. I can't remember what town it's in, but anyway, gorgeous place. But you do ceremony outside, like out on the lawn, right? You do cocktail hour in this super cool black and white checkered floor piano room, right? But then you do dinner in one room, and then you go to the other side of the building and you do just dancing there. So like you do intros, or we did intros into the like dining room, we'll just call it that. So we basically needed like two full setups, you know, because it was like 190 people in this room, and we did like one speaker, one Ever's 8 isn't gonna do that,
Right,
you
right.
know. So it's just it's crazy that there are so many different formats, and I do believe that everybody is going to start doing whatever the hell they want to do.
Mhm.
Because this past weekend I had a couple. We did intros straight into a welcome. We did first course. We did toasts. We did, you know, main course. We did parent dances. Then we did first dance.
Mm.
And then everybody joined in for the first dance. We did another slow song right away. And then we were just done for the rest of the night.
Interesting. So you know what's funny about you saying that is I just did a wedding recently at Mill at Manor Falls in Lancaster where they did formality dances after dinner, but the switch up was they did their first dance first. Then rather than the couple dancing with their respective parents, they instead wanted to give the parents a moment to shine and honor and celebrate them. So they had parent and step parent couples come onto the dance floor to dance. It was three sets of couples because they were all parents and step parents, and it was just them, those three pairs dancing to Tennessee Whiskey. And then right as soon as the song ended, I was to tell everyone, all right, join the parents on the dance floor and let's open and dance and celebrate a couple this evening. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, so you telling me that just reminded me of that, of like, oh yeah, they flipped their parent dance to be like a recognition and then open the dance floor that way. Because I agree. I think what's dope is that couples are starting to realize like there's certain, for lack of better terms, staples that maybe should be in place or anything like that, but they have fun twists on them or they make changes that make sense. It's something I tell my couples is like, hey, look, at the end of the day, there is this balance of you are basically planning a party to celebrate you. And there is some like consistent truths to planning a party for guests when it comes to like not shuffling them unnecessarily. So going back and forth between two spaces, how you handle food delivery and things of that sort, not keeping people too hungry. So there's like certain truths, right?
Yeah.
But still telling them, but you still make decisions with formalities and other parts of your day that make sense to who you are and how you want to envision celebrating you two becoming bonded for life. And
Yeah.
so, no, those kinds of things are what I love about. So I love honestly when couples do stuff atypical. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm down for it. Let's do it. Uh,
Yeah.
So I agree with you in that couples doing whatever the hell they want now, and that is shaking up a lot of the common formats I think we're used to, whether it be just like regionally in the case of us, like PA, New Jersey style, or other areas as well. At least from what I see online, it looks like that's the case. People are seeing fun, interesting spins on the formats they've been used to for so long.
Yeah, yeah. And that's pretty much it, man. But like it is our job no matter what to know that format. So like I guess one big thing that I've always been doing lately, if I haven't been to a venue yet and I don't know how the flow goes, of course you hope you have a planner
Hmm.
that'll just kind of send you that perfect pretty timeline.
Hmm.
Uh, but you know, you don't always get that. So you got to reach out to venues. You got to get in touch with them and make sure that you have that flow. It's so frustrating just to the first time to hear about something on the day of and be like, that's not what I had, you
Yeah.
know. But you do learn to fly by the seat of your pants basically through it all. Like that's just it. Yeah, I guess it's the biggest key to success that I would like advice wise that I would give just when doing this is absolutely know exactly what's going on and use your voice and that microphone to command everyone to do exactly that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
No, I agree with that. I think in talks with you, and I'll admit this, a lot of videos that, Jani has put out as far as like it's okay to go on the mic and tell people, hey, let's dance. Because I think a lot of couples, when they tell me like, oh, we don't want somebody that is like cheesy on the mic or that is on the mic too often. I think a lot of us communicate that to, okay, I gotta like barely talk then. And I don't think that is truthful at all. I think it's a
Yeah.
mix of just knowing when to talk and how to talk and
Love that.
commanding that room to tell people, hey, we're here for this reason. This is a big way we're celebrating that. So don't be shy. Come out. As opposed to being like, just come and dance for your own enjoyment. I didn't even notice it until talking to you. I've been saying on the mic, like, come out to dance to celebrate, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, whatever
Yeah.
the couple's name is. Because I think it's just that framing of, oh yeah, we are here to celebrate them. I'm not here just like I'm not going to a club where I go to dance for myself or anything like that. It's like I'm here to celebrate two loved ones getting married. So hell yeah, we go out there. So I think, it's not cheesy to do exactly what you said. Like, let's get on the dance floor and celebrate. Or even just being straight up like, hey, we all need some time before you can eat. So let's go ahead and just get on the dance floor for a little bit until dinner is ready. Just something as simple as that. So that way, I'm a big believer on as long as the guests know what's happening and what's to come, they'll be good. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's a major role we have as a DJ and as an MC, which is communicating clearly what is wrapping up, what is happening now, and what is to come. So guests are never left like, what the hell is going on? Because I know as a guest for a wedding, I hate when that happens of like, I don't know what the hell's going on right now.
Yeah.
Uh, and one thing I want to add too, and I think this kind of lends itself to any format, and go back to a little bit of what helped me prep for this wedding I did with Jersey style for the first time
Yeah.
was I don't know if you do this or if you communicate this differently. I tell my couples, hey guys, the music for prelude, for cocktail, for dinner, ultimately, if you have particular vibes you want to hit, I want to hit them. But I'm going to share with you my personal philosophy, which is I like to build energy in the music throughout the day. So obviously, your prelude music, that's the moment before you legally or religiously or culturally join together in union. And so there is a lot of sentimentality and intimacy. So you pick music that reflects that sentiment. Now, often that's the Bridgerton pop cover stuff that's been super popular, or just another style of music that fits that vibe for you. And then I explained, and cocktail hour is the moment after. Everyone is hype as hell to have seen you get married. Now they can talk to each other and catch up. So there's excitement in the air. So you play music that captures that energy, but not the bangers. Like, I Want to Dance with Somebody does not come on during cocktail hour. But You Can Call Me Out by Paul Simon, great song to put
Dude,
because
that's such a good example.
um so cocktail reflects that. Then you go into reception, which that can vary a little bit, but as far as like you're building the next step in energy. So I tell my couples for dinner, I want to try to have your guests either shake their head or like do the shoulder tug. I want no more than that because then that defeats the purpose of what dinner is meant to do. But as they're grooving and vibing, as they're talking and eating, that's like the sweet spot because then you go into dinner or into dancing, and now it's like, okay, now it's time to ramp it up. So they've had the entire day to slowly unwind. And you kind of touched on this earlier, where like for some people, it's like, oh, I gotta like go to 100 real quick now because the dance set is on. And in the case of Jersey, the dinner dance set. But it really is a sense of like, no, we're building up to get you comfortable so it's not as drastic of a switch for you. And I think that lends itself to PA style because it very much is like formalities, then dinner, then dancing. It kind of culminates the end of the night. Or in Jersey style, where you just have the dinner dance set. So it's this sense of like, okay, I'm not going super hard on this, like we talked about, but opening and kind of helping unwind to get comfortable so that when the main dance set happens, the meat of the celebration, they are at the most optimal as possible. And of course, that'll be different per guest, per, group and all of that. But I think that helps a lot in the planning process and kind of what I thought of too with the dinner dance set. And after my talk with you, I was like, okay, I'm actually not as nervous now because it kind of is this sense of like I'm already doing what I naturally do. There's just another dance set to think of what's my goal here and what do I want guests to get out of it for me as their DJ.
Yeah, dude, you had. I'm happy that you did have it like kind of silver plattered with
Yes.
them. I just think that's because it is so intimidating. So intimidating. The first time I did it, like I had never seen anybody do it. And it was just like, I just gotta wing this, you know? And
Right.
it was scary because I kind of just burnt my normal dance floor opening, like
Yeah.
using that. And I was like, well, I guess I gotta come up with another way to open a dance floor now. And there you go. You're forced to do it. It makes you a better DJ doing this kind of stuff, like having the different formats. It makes you a better MC. You got to
Right.
be more commanding through it all, you know. And
Exactly.
honestly, it's so fun because you get boos when you're like, you just like echo or like stem out or something like that. And you're like, all right, everybody, hey, that's an awesome way to open up our night. I'm so happy to see everybody out here having a great time. I have to ask you to make your way back to your seats now. Your main course is about to be served. Then you throw on like Jerusalem or something like that, and then they're still just out there like, ah, nah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just can't turn them off though, and it's the greatest feeling, like just having them in the palm of your hand and
Yeah.
knowing that they're going to come flying back out.
Yeah, I will say one technical thing, I guess advice for others that have to be in the Jersey style
Hell
scenario.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Throw all your advice
Because
out right now because
you had mentioned like, hey, have some like short edits ready to go. Because with that 5 minute time, or I said 10, but 5 minute timer from the catering staff or your coordinator, you're like, oh crap, I have to end this quickly. So something that and I'd done this honestly even in other weddings, not Jersey style. But if I have to like end earlier than I anticipated, honestly, I using stems just echo out the vocals at the end of a phrase and then just have the beat going and then my vocals as the MC carry through. So it's not just like a sudden hard stop, like, all right, dinner time. It's very much like an edging out of
yeah,
dancing moment to be like, hey guys, such a great dance floor set, but then, the background instrumental still going off. So it's not as much of hitting the brake as much as a slow stop of the vehicle towards the red light.
yeah, yeah. You're literally like saying the station that you're coming up to as you're, like you're pulling up, not like saying it and then launching away.
Right.
Yeah,
That.
yeah. No, yeah. It's so much of like, having like a crossfade of it all, right? Because you want to crossfade the dancing into and I think that's why slow dances are such a good way to, because instead of just like straight punching them in the mouth, like we were saying with a super hype song, you know, you are kind of like feathering them into it,
Yes.
you
Ooh,
know?
great verb there.
Yeah, I didn't like when you said edging. That freaked me out a little bit. Yeah.
This is
No,
learning opportunities.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. We're always learning. So
Don't
yeah,
tell your couples, yeah, I'm gonna edge your guests.
yeah. We're just gonna edge them just a little bit. I'm gonna get them all edgy. Yeah, they're gonna be edged as hell. Uh,
Oh
with
man.
that, bro, do you have any other advice though, or anything about the entire like concept or any format stuff? Any like kind of for the good of the order? I guess that's kind of what I like to say.
I mean, definitely get to know your couple. If you don't already do that, which you should be if you're a DJ and MC. I'm not saying you gotta like go do bowling with them on Sundays, but like really get to know them and understand their vision and who they are and the kind of music they like. Like honestly, if you get a Spotify playlist from them, like, hey, here's our top jams, don't just keep it there. Like I will go to their Spotify profile and look at their other playlists that they have
Oh,
that are public just to be like, oh, here's this hype workout playlist that you have. Oh, here's a great amount of bangers that I can throw in knowing you
if
like
you can find a guy's golf playlist, it will tell you everything you need to know about him.
guys golf playlist. Really?
Yes. Yes. If they are a golfer, if you can find that playlist that they listen to, that's the playlist that they want to hear at the bachelor party. And it's also going to be where they are having Sorry, wives, the most fun in the world because they're driving a funny little car while they're playing a sport that's easy and doesn't hurt their back with their buddies.
Yeah.
And they're wasted. Did I say that already?
I think no.
Might be some cocaine involved. I don't know. Yeah. No, but that's a fucking major key, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Just
No,
finding
no.
that stuff.
I'm glad I know that. But yeah, I mean, it just like gets in your couples, which helps you to know the kind of dance floor hits that are going to work with them and their friends and family. And then just learn to be adaptable. I think that that's the one thing that just, and I think a lot of people say that, but I think, how do I want to say this? I think we think we're adaptable until we get pushed to our limits. And then we're like, oh shit, this is a lot harder than I thought. Like, I'll be transparent. I just did a wedding where actually there was no dancing for religious reasons. And in lieu of no dancing, there was a lot of group activities or like potential games to play. But with how things ended up being the day of, I actually ended up really stepping into like a co-coordinator scenario with the coordinator, be like, hey, based on how things are shaping up, I'm foreseeing this taking longer, this not working out as much. And I personally got pushed to my limits as far as like helping coordinate the night, because it was just continuously, oh, this took longer than expected, oh, guests are holding up the couple from eating because they're taking too many photos with them. And like I was like, I would have thought no dancing, pretty easy wedding. It was one of the more involved and exhausting weddings I've done, just because of how hands-on I had to be in hyper analyzing where things are going. Because with a no dance wedding, the burnout can happen so much faster for couples. Mind you, it was also a Sunday. I should also mention that it was a Sunday wedding with no dancing. And so always being willing to admit that I'm adaptable, but I can always be more adaptable. So just always being open to learning more, which is going to help you when you get those inquiries of a style you're not familiar with. Like in the case of this Jersey style dance wedding, even though again, silver platter with this amazing couple. But I think that I consistently come back to that of like just being adaptable and knowing how to change directions quickly, not just with music, but also in your job as the MC and a vendor, helping guide things along the way.
Yeah. No, the wilder experiences that you get to kind of be a part of, I think just make you that much more powerful, man. That's
Right.
huge. Cool. All right. So where does everybody find you right now? For real.
For real, definitely
Yeah.
socials. So, dang, I should have had this ready to go before because I'm still trying to figure out what my new Instagram handle is going to be.
Right.
As of right now, it's at I am DJ FTR on Threads, Instagram. I think those are like the most prominent things I'm on these days. But again, I'm transitioning just my full name, Alan Fernandez, as my DJ and stage name. Just makes the most sense at this point.
Yeah.
So hopefully by the time you post this, you can post a little note like Alan figured it out. Here's his new handle.
Yeah. It will be good.
One of those redacted YouTube edits of like, hey, I forgot this. Yeah. So yeah, let's just go with that. You know, by the time you post this, you'll put something down here. Like,
Yeah.
So there you go. Now you have the area to put it.
There's
in.
my cue, baby. There's my cue.
Exactly.
Yeah. So hang on. I guess I should be like this then. Can you put your fingers down again one more time? We'll see. Yeah, there we go. We'll put it in between us.
There we go.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know how this records. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, so I guess you'll have your name attached to everything anyway. So we'll just look for Alan Fernandez pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you could also follow at Baker Event Co. Again, I'm one of the main DJs for the team and also a booking manager there. So usually I get posted on stuff there too. But yeah, as far as like my socials, you'll add it.
Yeah, we'll find Alan Fernandez all over the internet. Yeah, cool, man. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me, dude. I appreciate you asking the question. You know, originally, without that, we wouldn't have done this.
I appreciate you taking the question and giving me some great feedback.
Hell yeah, dude. All right. Well, thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
See you later.
See ya.
All right, so that's going to do it for this awesome interview with Alan. I'm going to update all of the information on the video with all of his social media just because we're kind of in that in-between area. But I wanted to jump on here and say, like, this video originally started off, I just wanted to talk about formats of weddings, and I'm realizing I really miss interviewing. So I think I'm going to start doing this a little bit more. Not as much live, a little more produced like this, a little more podcast style. But this is one of my favorite ways to connect and to learn and to teach. So I appreciate the support through all of this as the channel kind of probably changes a little bit again. But thank you so much for always being here through it all. And make sure you hit my man Alan up and give him all the kudos in the comments. Because we dropped some major keys, some really cool nuggets about learning to work with couples, learning to work with different formats. working at venues that you haven't before. And we're really excited to hear some of your favorites about what you learned from the two of us. So thanks again for checking out this video. And big shout out to, once again, all of the members. Appreciate you guys being here and coming back for all the cool content. But we'll catch you in the next one. Appreciate you being here.